I'm your host, TaSheena Braxton, and I am on a mission to disrupt the industry standard that fancy titles make leaders and teaching my clients how to become leaders and get their own seats at the table. Every week, I will explore a topic that impacts women of color. I will unpack the topic and provide learning so that you can feel equipped to step into leadership. I went from laid off to an entry-level job to a mid-level multiple six figures role where I wasn't the highest on the org chart, but I was able to sit in rooms with CEOs, CFOs, and CMOs without a fancy title. As a mom of 4, a wife, and the eldest daughter of 6, I know what it means to lead in every aspect of your life and to be able to translate that into the workplace. Welcome to the Leadership Beyond the Title podcast. So glad to have you here. Now let's get into it. Welcome back to Leadership Beyond the Title podcast. I'm your host, TaSheena Braxton. And in today's episode, I am getting a little personal. I am in this season of my life where change is so constant and there are things changing right before my eyes every single day. But there's also a place where the change is requiring me to literally let go of things. And so today I want to talk about the letting go that has been happening for me and why this is a necessary leadership skill that ultimately will make you a better leader, not only for yourself, but for those that you lead as well. So let's dive in. If you've been following me, you know that my daughter, I have one daughter, my only daughter, just graduated from high school. And this graduation was different than when my oldest son graduated from high school back in 2022. In 2022, I was graduating from college with my master's degree. I went back to school in the pandemic, and my son was graduating from high school. And I guess it felt a little bit different because he was the oldest. It was my first time experiencing it. And he was also one of 3 boys. Okay. My daughter is my only girl. And when she graduated, well, even before she graduated, she made the decision that she wanted to go away to school. She wanted to experience life. She wanted to go out in the world. And I won't lie to you. I tried to convince her to stay. I told her all the perks of like going to my alma mater and what school I went to and why to stay home and blah, 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 blah. I did all the things. I tried to keep her here. And I lost that battle. And she has decided that she's going to go away, which is all good. I am so proud of her. I don't want you to get this wrong. Like, I am very proud of her because she's smart, she's strong, she's ready to take on the world. And as I am proud of her and excited for her, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I'm also a little heartbroken because, and you can even tell, like, I can't even get the words out, but I'm a little heartbroken because she is my only daughter. I'll be left here with a slew of boys. I won't have someone to mirror back to me what, becoming a woman looks like. Not to say that I didn't have that personally, but just watching myself, the person that I created, that I've raised, go away and not have just that other girl energy. Y'all know if you're, the girl energy, right? And then there's this like, well, how do I do all these things? Like, I literally have to learn with her because when I graduated high school, I did not want to go away. And let me tell you, I could have went to any college I had wanted to. My grades was so fantastic. And I'm not even like lying about it, but it was so fantastic. And I just decided I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay home, close to home, to my mom, to my dad, to my siblings, to my family, who's all in the same city and state that I'm in. And it was, while my oldest son made the same decision I did, My daughter did not. And so I'm learning, what does it look like to move into a college dorm, and what do I need, and what's all the checks and balances I need to do, the financial aid, the scholarships, the loan requests, the moving in. How do I get something across country into another place? And so I've really been ChatGPTing it, but also at the same time asking friends who have walked this walk before. My daughter will be the first granddaughter to leave and go across the state to college. And I'm so incredibly excited for her. But it is making me shift inside at the same time that it's shifting for her. And if it wasn't enough, as I record this, my oldest son is traveling to Indonesia. Yes. He is traveling to Indonesia. And I know some of y'all are thinking, if you're listening to this in June, y'all are thinking, wait, what? Not in June 2025. Why would you let him go when there is so much chaos happening in the world right now? Like literally, there's like a possibility of a looming war. And trust me, I've asked myself the same question over and over again. I tried to convince him to stay as well. But I also had to take a deeper thought about this and ask a deeper question. Am I parenting and leading from fear or from faith? And I realized that holding on tighter wouldn't keep him safer. It would only make me smaller. These moments have literally stretched me in ways that I didn't expect. They've become my emotional boot camp for real, for the kind of leader that I want to be. The type of leader who trusts, the type of leader who is okay with releasing things, and the type of leader who is continuously growing. And all of this change that I'm real time experiencing and reflecting on at the same time, what I've realized is that letting go isn't just a parenting lesson, it's a leadership lesson as well. I think we're often taught that strong leaders, like if you're strong, you got to hold tight to the vision. You got to hold tight to your team. You have to hold tight to the outcomes and the control. And, that sounds great. Like you want to keep that thing front and center and you want to hold onto it and really be aligned to it. But true leadership is not about tightening your grip. Can you imagine if when my kids started walking, I tightened my grip so much that I never let them try to walk. I never let them fall. I never let them, it's so cute when the little babies like fall on their little butt with their little diapers and they cry and they get so upset. But can you imagine if I would have tightened my grip and said, no, I don't want you to even fall. I don't want you to experience this. I don't want you to try this. And it's not about tightening your grip as a leader or as a parent. It's about knowing when to release, when to let them, when to let the birds fly out the nest, right? And releasing control doesn't mean that you're careless. It just means that you are trusting the process. Okay. I want y'all to know, trust the process. If you are a new parent, if you are a potential parent, you're trying to be a parent, you're about to be a parent, and you're like navigating this, or even if you are a parent and you've been a parent for a long time and you've never taken time to sit back and just really reflect and think about this, I really want you to think about this because this stuff is super important. It's something that I really, really want you to consider and to think about. Can you let go? Can you trust the process? And another place that I've had to learn to let go within the past year is letting go of a job that I really loved and teaching others to do the same. Because when you're working for an organization, and not necessarily that you love the organization, but you love the work that you do. And this is, I know people who have been in DEI, for an example, have been in these roles that they love and they really want to be at service and they really want to give. And suddenly that role is taken away and you have to learn all alone at most times how to release control, how to release and let go. But the reason why it's so hard is because our roles, the things that we do, seem to be attached so much to our identities and who we are. But I want you to know, releasing your role, releasing your job, releasing everything doesn't mean you're abandoning your identity. It just means that you're making more space to evolve and to see a different way that your identity can actually be realized. Okay. And so when I allowed my daughter to finally choose her own path and I just release it and let go, even though it's taking her away from me at periods of the year, I believe that I have showed her what trust really looks like. Trust in her decisions, trust in her capabilities. And this is what people who follow leaders, they always want. They always want somebody who they can trust and who will help them just like, believe in me, trust that I'm making the right decisions, right? And the same thing goes for my ability to let my son fly literally across the world. I modeled what it looks like to have faith and not have fear. And my son is the total poster child for the faith walk. And so I've had to learn, like he has modeled that for me. And in turn, it's a trust game. It's a faith game. And it's still saying, Mom, trust me. Mom, have faith in our Creator and God, that He got me and He has my back. And one thing that I've noticed when I literally let go and just release and allow God to be God and allow my children to make the adult decisions that they're going to have to start making, and then trusting myself that I've raised capable, fully able, fully responsible adults, that I started to feel more grounded. I started to feel more like in control in some sense. Like I'm here and I'm doing well and this is good and everything is going to be okay. Letting go has so many benefits for you, for me, for anyone else who is really in this place where they are navigating change while at the same time needing to let go. Letting go will allow you to build trust in others, because people will rise up when you stop hovering over them. You all know the micromanager, the one who is just like all on you. They want to see every processes that you're doing. They want to be all in it. They're asking you a bunch of questions and they just don't let you breathe, right? Can you imagine what it would feel like if their manager or you, if you've experienced let go? Then you're like, oh my gosh, now I could bring more ideas. I could bring more thoughts. I can bring my experience. I can live out my true authenticity when we allow ourselves as leaders to let go and allow the people who are making the decisions, make the decisions and trust them. But it also builds resilience in you, in yourself, because every time you release, you open up the possibility for expansion. A good analogy of this is like, I heard this said before, that sometimes we don't get more because we're holding on so tight to what we already have. Okay. And I'm going to use specifically with money. I am a person who has grown up that giving when we can is the best practice. Also, it's the best practice even in church. Like I'm a tither. Fun fact, my youngest son's name is Malachi. It is the book of the Bible where they talk about the tithe. And I have made that a practice in my life. And what I've realized is the more that I give, the more I get back. And so and you get more back because you've opened up room for yourself to expand. If you are someone who reads the Bible, you know the blessing that you want the blessing to be so full and so abundant that there's no room to hold it, because it's just, you're releasing it out into the world and you're getting more back, and it's just keep on coming to you and you have the ability to release it. Well, if you want to be that and you want that for your life, let go. Give it away. Whether it's giving away your money, your time, your knowledge, your expertise, whatever it is, be okay with giving. Now, I'm not saying give up to somebody who is using and abusing you. But when we release the things we know we should release, we get more, we expand more. But letting go has also made my vision more clearer, because I'm not clinging to what happened in the past, what's the historical facts. I'm not clinging to that. I can look towards what's next. I know when I work with a lot of teams, they are so fixated on, oh, we used to do it this way. This is how things went and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, for God's sakes, like if you're holding on to what was, you're not even allowing yourself the ability to have greater sight on what can be. Okay. And I hope you hear a theme here in what I'm talking about, because it's like when you let go, you allow the universe to give you something more, another perspective, another gift, another somebody who's going to come and give you more. So you want to do that, because letting go is not the end. Like, it's not the end of everything. You're not going to like pass out or, nothing's going to happen to you if you let go. And knowing that as leaders, if we're holding on to jobs, to money, to our talents, and we're holding on to those things so much, or we're holding on to the past, how can we grow into who we're becoming? How can we become something new? There's not enough room for you, for your body, for your mental capacity. There's not enough room to do anything. And so it's like building your capacity to be able to let go, because that could be the beginning of what is possible for you in your life. And that's what I'm understanding about these transitions with my daughter, and then with my son. Of course, he'll be back, he'll be back on coming home soon, and he'll be back on this flight. And my daughter should go to school, and she'll be back, at different holiday periods. She'll be back, right? But it's allowing them to be the adults that they need to become, because my letting go allows me to become somebody new, but it also allows them to become somebody new. And that's the best thing that I could ever ask for. That's the highest honor of being a mom, is watching your children grow into adults who get it, who are responsible, who are empathetic, who are compassionate, who are strong, who are able to take risks and make decisions. Like, it's the highest honor as a parent. So now what I want to do is I want to turn this mirror towards you, those of you who are listening. And I want to ask you, what are you holding on to right now that might actually be holding you back? Are you holding to the old stories that you used to tell yourself about what you can't do? Are you holding on to the toxic leader who you can't get over how they did you? Are you holding on to your money because you're like, I'm not giving nobody my money. I need to hold on to it. And let me tell you something. This is a perfect example. When you hold on to your money, you're like, I'm not giving nobody anything. Nobody wants to give to you when you need it. Okay? So it's just like a clear example of how letting go is so important. You may also be holding on to a role you've outgrown. Like, it's time for you to step into your next level leadership, but you feel guilty leaving it behind, or you feel like you're not capable of more because nobody has shown you a role model trust to you. It's hard for you to trust yourself. And that's a whole other topic we can get into. But I'm just going to stay right here. Like, do you trust yourself? Are you able to become somebody new? Maybe, because I'm not done yet. Maybe you are holding on to control. This is the one I really had to reflect back to myself. And I really had to think about, because I wanted to control my kids' destination. I wanted to control what they were going to do after high school. I can't control that. They are adults and they are making decisions that I have to support no matter how hard it is. Right? But if I don't, will I get the satisfaction of the progress they make, of the future degrees that they get, of the future experiences that they will be able to experience? Like, will I get that satisfaction? It's like a sacrificial game. Like, if I give this up, I won't get this, or I will get this, or I won't get this. Like, whatever it is. Like, I want you to really think about it. But there are some people who can't let go of control over their team. They're like, this is my team and I'm going to hold tight to my team and this is what it's going to be. And, like, I have to protect my team and no matter what. And your team members are like, well, dang, I want to do something different. I want to expand. I want to, go out into, my organization and I want to try something new. I know managers like this who are so afraid of having to go through a new hiring process that they will literally block an employee from receiving a promotion. And that's why it's so important to not just have your manager in your corner, but to have multiple people who have your back and who are willing to, like, be there for you and, advocate for you and make some moves for you, when you're not in the room. Because there are bosses who have so much control and want so much control and they just cannot let go. And so I really want you to ask yourself, like, what's keeping you from really leading clearly or really being able to let go? Maybe it's the fear of the unknown and you want to cling to something that's more familiar, even though it no longer makes sense anymore. And I just want you to sit with that. Because if I've learned anything in this season right now, it's that letting go isn't about a loss. It is literally about creating the space for what is coming for you. What are you becoming? What new lessons, experiences, and ideas and new blessings and gifts that you're going to get when you create the space for yourself? Sometimes the most powerful leadership move is not charging forward. Sometimes it's like, I got to loosen my grip a little bit. I have to loosen up to what I'm holding on to. Sometimes that's the leadership move. That's the strategic chess move that we need to be making. So again, I'm going to ask you, what do you need to release right now in order for you to get to the next version of who you need to become? Because something I know is God is going to keep presenting you with the same challenge, with the same struggles, with the same thing over and over and over again until you get the lesson. And oftentimes that lesson is you need to let go. You need to let go and you need to trust. Those two things, let go, trust. Okay? So take a moment, maybe even pause this episode right now. And I want you to journal on it. I want you to just really breathe, really think, really reflect. Or even you can send me a DM. Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, post something on the show notes right here. And I'd love to hear what's coming up for you. Okay? So, now that we were kind of clear and I've shown you there is some gifts of letting go. Because as I've sat with all of this, the future goodbyes, the transitions that are happening for me in my life, the stretching, this is literally stretching me outside of my comfort zone. If anybody knows anything about me, I'm cool with, same routine, same thing. Let's go. Right? It was so hard for me, even when I was getting laid off and I had to transition full time into my business. And I would be lying to you if there were not days where I am tempted to go back to what's familiar. And then God shows up. Yes, God shows up and he's like, you know what? No, 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 no. Like you're trusting me. You've done it for over a year now. I'm going to keep showing you what's next and what's possible for you. Okay. And so I want to leave you with something in this episode. The first thing is like letting go is not a weakness. Sometimes even relationships, y'all, those of you who have a partner, a spouse, a friendship, sometimes we're like, if I didn't stick with it, I'm weak. Like my marriage vows say, till death do us part. But, your partner is over here emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, physically abusive. But you're like, I got to stick with it. I have to have control over this. Like, this is the only place in my life where I feel like I'm something and I'm worth it. And I have to stay with it. I cannot let it go or people will call me weak. I want you to think differently of that. Okay. You are not weak for letting go. Nor are you letting go does not mean giving up either. It's not giving up. It's just saying, I am doing something different to make space for what's coming to me. I'm doing something different. And that's why letting go is a leadership skill. Letting go is leadership. Letting go is leadership beyond a title. It's the part that we don't understand sometimes and we don't look at. Change is something is trying to be realized, something is trying to happen, and letting go is change. Because when we release what no longer serves us, we make space for new wisdom, for new ideas, for deeper connections, for your ability to just grow. And I used to think, I'm not going to even lie, I used to think that holding on meant that I was stronger, that I had grit, that I was resilient because I was gripping tighter and I was holding on. But the real grit, the real strength is having the courage to open your hands, open your heart, open your mind, and trust what is next. When I let go of who I was in that old job, when I let go of who I am as a mother right now, who I am as a manager, who I am as a mentor, who I am as a coach, and always be willing to be open to something new the next day, I make space for who I was becoming as a leader. And I want to invite you to do that too. Because what would it look like to lead with open hands? We always talk about serving and trusting. What would it look like if you open your hands more instead of closing them tighter? What might shift for you if you stop bracing and waiting for the guillotine to fall and drop, or the hammer to drop, whatever you want to say it, and you started trusting? The truth is, we start growing and becoming the next person. We rise. We become somebody else, somebody new, somebody who's more aware, somebody who's learned something, somebody with wisdom, somebody's grandmother one day, somebody's great grandmother one day who will look at her great grandbabies and have the wisdom that all of us crave for. What would it look like if you let go? So I just want to thank you for sitting with me in this. I am literally real time experiencing so much change in my life, so much shift, so much, just new things that are becoming. And I know today's episode was a little more personal, but I also know that leadership just isn't about what we do out there. It's about how we move in our hearts. And so here's your invitation. What is one thing you know you need to let go of in this season? It's about to be summertime and, school year is past and half the year is past. What do we need to let go in this season? It could be a role. It could be a relationship. Maybe you even need to let go of fear. Or maybe just the belief that you have to carry it all by yourself. I love to hear what's stirring up for you, what's happening for you, how you're feeling after this episode. So DM me on Instagram or LinkedIn and just use the subject line, I'm letting go, just so that I know that it's from this episode. And if this resonated with you, send it to another woman of color, another guy, another leader who might be holding on a little too tightly to something right now. Because I believe that when we start to have this conversation about letting go in leadership, about opening your hands to change, we do better together. So until next time, keep leading with open hands and a full heart. I appreciate all of you. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Leadership Beyond the Title podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, hit like, follow, and leave a comment. Share with your friends, family members, and other women of color leaders. Inside my one-on-one leadership coaching program, I will help you become the leader that you want to be with work-life integration and peace. By tapping into networks, growing your visibility and confidence, you will go from untapped, unseen, and underrepresented to attracting opportunities to take your career and your life to the next level. I use an equity-centered lens in my approach so that you feel seen, safe, empowered, excited, and committed to attract, create, and land opportunities in an unconventional way. To work with me, join my email newsletter, or to learn more about me, click the links in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to being your coach. See you next week.